What's worse, knowing the grim truth about a loved one's fate or being left with nothing but questions? It's a heart-wrenching choice, and both sides carry deep pain. Some crave the chilling details of a homicide case to find closure, while others can't bear to picture their loved one's final moments. Believing not knowing is easier. In 2005, the Smith family faced this agony when their son, George, vanished. George and his new wife, Jennifer, were just 11 days into their marriage, basking in their honeymoon's glow when tragedy struck. Investigators narrowed it down to two possibilities: an accident or something sinister. But this didn't bring the family any clarity. Twists, like shady fellow vacationers and a sudden murder probe, left more mysteries than answers. The biggest question: where was George Smith? Born on October 3, 1978, in Glenville, Connecticut, George grew up in a tight-knit family that ran Cos Cob Liquors, a thriving local store. More than a business, it was a community hub where everyone knew each other, creating a family-like bond. The store's success allowed the Smiths to live well, funding their kids' education and a comfortable life. After graduating from Greenwich High School, George studied business at Babson College in Massachusetts. He worked as a data analyst in Boston, sharp and driven. Despite a privileged childhood, George wasn't spoiled. He stayed grounded, living simply and working hard. Boston's fast-paced world was thrilling, but his heart remained in Connecticut. So, he left his job to take over the family store, learning from his dad and mastering the business by 2002. That year, at a friend's gathering, he met Jennifer Hagel, a first-grade teacher from Connecticut. They clicked instantly, like two pieces of a puzzle meant to fit. George's family adored Jennifer, beautiful, driven, and perfect for him. After 3 years together, they married at the stunning Castle Hill Inn, a fairy tale wedding by the water. For their honeymoon, they booked a 2-week Royal Caribbean cruise, starting June 29th from Barcelona, with stops in Greece, Turkey, and Italy. Aboard the brilliance of the seas, they were ready to savor their first days as husband and wife. But this trip turned into a nightmare, shattering the Smith family and sparking a decades-long search for their son, lost in the vast, deep ocean. True crime stories like this pull you in, but it's easy to forget these are real people, not just drama. We think, that could never happen to me, until it does. Take Bank of America's recent data breach, exposing thousands of customers' private info. Shockingly, they waited months to tell victims. On average, companies hide breaches for 277 days, nearly a year, leaving your bank details vulnerable without you knowing. Crimes like these happen too often, reminding us no one's truly safe. On July 5th, a calm day at sea, a passenger on Deck 7 glanced out her window, hoping to see the Aegean Sea sparkling under the sun. Instead, she spotted a chilling red smear on the ship's canopy, stretching far across. She quickly alerted the crew, and soon, panic spread. The captain traced the blood to cabin 9062, George and Jennifer's room. Inside, it was chaos. Belongings scattered, bed unmade, a chair oddly placed by the balcony's glass railing. The glass showed a hip impression, as if someone had leaned perilously close to the edge. 2 small red marks, about 2 centimeters long, stained the sheets. Blood tests confirmed the worst. It was George's. The couple was nowhere to be found, and the blood trail from the balcony door terrified everyone. Something awful had happened. The crew soon learned cabin 9062 belonged to George and Jennifer Smith. 2 hours later, there was still no sign of 26-year-old George, but Jennifer was located at the ship's spa, getting a scheduled massage. When the captain and crew told her George was missing, she seemed shocked and worried. She hadn't seen him since the night before, leaving a trail of unsettling questions. By noon, Turkish police boarded the ship to investigate George's disappearance. The police focused on Jennifer, the last person known to have seen George. They reviewed security footage to piece together the previous night's events. Jennifer's behavior that morning raised eyebrows. Instead of searching for her missing husband, she went to the spa, which seemed odd. Still, the police wanted to know who George and Jennifer had been with the night before. Jennifer explained they'd befriended Josh Askin, a 20-year-old American passenger, early in the cruise. The trio had fun together for days, dining, exploring ports, and enjoying the trip. On July 4th, Jennifer said she, George, and Josh hit the ship's casino. George and Josh gambled while she played poker. Later, they moved to the disco, drinking heavily and losing money at the tables. Security footage confirmed George was last seen in the casino around 2:30 a.m. After that, he vanished. The police tracked down Josh, who had plenty to say. He claimed Jennifer and George didn't leave the disco together. Jennifer was with Lloyd, the casino manager, and they seemed cozy, even in front of George. Footage showed Jennifer stumbling out of the disco around 3:30 a.m., leaving George with new friends. Lloyd's keycard showed he returned to his room at 3:25 a.m., which caught the police's attention. Jennifer and Lloyd's stories didn't fully align, hinting at a closer connection. The investigation grew murkier when 3 more names surfaced: Greg and Zach Rosenberg, cousins, and their friend Rusty, all Russian-born New Yorkers with American passports. Jennifer had played poker with Greg, 19, while George hung out with Josh, Zach, and Rusty. The group hit the disco after the casino, drinking heavily. The 3 Russians were loud and rowdy, prompting the crew to cut off their alcohol supply. But that didn't stop them. With George's help, they smuggled a bottle of absinthe on board, bought in Greece. Since passengers under 21 couldn't bring alcohol aboard, George hid the bottle in his pants. Absinthe is potent, with 40 to 70% alcohol content, legal in Europe but tightly regulated. The crew, including a caretaker, saw George, Josh, and the trio downing it. Everyone drank heavily that night. Jennifer was visibly drunk by 2:30 a.m., staggering on camera by 3:30 a.m., leaning on Lloyd and arguing with George. She reportedly hit George during a heated moment. A cleaner who saw the group drinking absinthe helped Jennifer to the elevator. But here's where things get strange. Cabin 9062 was to the left of the elevator, yet Jennifer turned right. She was later found asleep in the hallway, so drunk that a female officer and 2 guards wheeled her to her room in a wheelchair just before 5 a.m. The cabin was quiet when they arrived, curtains drawn. Meanwhile, a couple in the next cabin reported hearing yelling, furniture moving, footsteps, and a loud thud around 4 a.m. before Jennifer returned. They alerted guest services. A man next door saw 3 men in the hallway, but couldn't identify them. Witnesses heard a woman scream and a thud, but no one confirmed a woman was in the cabin. Oddly, 4 men entered the cabin, but only 3 were seen leaving. Did George act before Jennifer returned? Was he with the Russians? Did he fall accidentally, or was he pushed? George's keycard showed Greg, Zach, and Rusty entered cabin 9062 around 4:05 a.m. The couple next door saw 3 men leave and head to another room. Most devastatingly, George's body was never found. Without it, proving murder or foul play was nearly impossible. Theories swirled about that night. The first and most plausible suggests a robbery gone wrong. Zach, Greg, and Rusty may have targeted wealthy passengers, getting them drunk to exploit their trust. Jennifer had given George an expensive watch, and her engagement ring was lavish. Witnesses said the couple flaunted their wealth, carrying thousands in cash. The trashed cabin suggested a search for valuables. The 2 red marks on the sheets, detectives noted, likely came from someone yanking George's watch off forcefully. Another theory points to a bizarre accident. The group's heavy absinthe consumption could have left George so disoriented he fell overboard, unable to be saved. Absinthe's hallucinogenic compound, thujone, was regulated in Europe, making this less likely, but drunken accidents aren't uncommon. The FBI joined the case, interviewing everyone close to George and Jennifer that night. Jennifer and Josh took polygraph tests. Jennifer passed, but Josh failed. A disturbing video surfaced of the 3 Russians joking about George's fate, saying things like, "We taught him how to paraglide without a parachute," and repeatedly claiming, "We never saw him." This was bizarre, as many saw them with George. In 2009, the FBI questioned Josh, Zach, Greg, and Rusty. Zach and Josh were evasive, invoking the Fifth Amendment. Greg was more forthcoming but vague, insisting George's death wasn't accidental. He hinted at a shocking revelation, but didn't live to share it. In December 2019, Greg was found shot dead in his car, outside his home, a mystery that remains unsolved. The timing, after hinting at George's case, feels too convenient to ignore. The Smith family was devastated when police called, saying George likely went overboard. Losing a son is horrific, but not knowing his fate, across continents in deep waters, was unbearable. They pushed the police to solve the case, offering a $100,000 reward for information and criticizing Royal Caribbean for downplaying the incident. The cruise line cleaned cabin 906 2 hours after George vanished, potentially erasing evidence, likely to avoid bad press. The Smiths suspected Jennifer, finding her calm demeanor and spa visit suspicious. But Jennifer may have been hungover, missing the blood in the chaotic room. She claimed the FBI advised her not to speak publicly, explaining her silence. Her family settled with Royal Caribbean for $1 million, which raised eyebrows, but it's not unusual. Proving the cruise line's liability was tough without evidence, and Jennifer was grieving. The Smiths hired forensic scientist Henry Lee to investigate. Despite limited evidence, Lee examined the balcony's height and railing, concluding George's fall wasn't accidental. He'd have needed a hard push. But he couldn't rule out George, drunk, losing balance. Lee planned to recreate the fall with a dummy to test the canopy's blood smudges, but Royal Caribbean blocked it. Lee's findings stayed confidential, leaving the case murkier. The FBI's investigation stalled, and by 2015, they ruled George's death an accident, clearing Josh, Zach, Greg, and Rusty. George hasn't been seen since January 7, 2015, nearly 10 years ago. His body, lost in the ocean covering 70% of Earth, is unlikely to be found after 20 years. The Smiths, outraged, vowed to take the case to the FBI's New York office, seeking answers. Jennifer remarried in 2009, has 2 children, and dedicates her life to charity. Officially, George's death is an accident, but no one, including me, fully buys it. Did he fall, or was he pushed? The truth remains elusive. The Smith family's 20-year quest for justice is both heartbreaking and inspiring. Without George's body, closure feels impossible. My heart goes out to them, living in fear, desperate for answers every day. We hope they find peace, however hard it may be. If this chilling case gripped you, like and subscribe for more true crime stories that need telling. Share your thoughts below. Until next time, stay sharp, stay safe, and keep seeking the truth.